Well, good morning to you all on Friday, the 31st of August. Headlines are describing it as the darkest day in racing history. But the complete shutdown of racing in New South Wales is not just about a few millionaire racehorse owners. If it were, then the problem, like the virus, could easily be quarantined. Just on the virus front, there's talk now that every one of the 700 thoroughbreds at Randwick could be hit by the virus. That would make it an epidemic almost out of control. And 488 horses on 41 known properties in New South Wales, including Centennial Park, are infected. Another 1,646 are suspected of having equine flu on another 100 properties, and there are suspected cases at Kembla Grange. Now, until yesterday, the virus had been restricted to the recreation horse industry, but Randwick is in lockdown now with no public access, and the 10-kilometre horse exclusion zone around it will remain until 30 days after the last of the horses diagnosed with EI has been declared safe. All of the cases have been linked to Centennial Park or Maitland, and almost all the horses at Centennial Park have equine influenza. And if the virus escaped from the quarantine station at Eastern Creek, then compensation surely is going to have to be paid. That's not the immediate concern. As of today, there could be anything up to 50,000 people out of work across New South Wales, and they're not millionaires. I'm talking about people whose livelihoods depend on events like the Spring Racing Carnival. Think about it. Those working at the TAB, those who clean out the TAB, the taxis and drivers who take people to Randwick, the hotels where they stay, the people who service the hotels, the people who stand at the gate as you go onto the track, the people who sell the pies and the sandwiches and the catering, the people who serve the tables, pull the beers, write out the betting tickets, the people who clean up the restaurants, clean out the bars, sweep up the rubbish after the race meeting's over, the strappers. Every jockey is out of work. None can ride in Victoria. Victorian stewards have already sent jockeys Darren Beedman and Hugh Bowman home, and to be fair, rightly so. I've got horses racing in Melbourne tomorrow, and we've been virtually told don't go because authorities there don't know where we've been, and that's a correct decision. And if this EI finishes up in all horses across the state, then multiply the effect that this is going to have on employment. And many of these people in employment are casual workers. The money they make may well be the savings for a wedding or a honeymoon. The money may well be the school fees or the monthly amount that's paid off the car. This is beyond serious, and it should never have happened. As the trainer John O'Shea has rightly said, this is the most significant incident in the 150 years that racing has been in action in Australia. The Spring Carnival is gone. And if World Youth Day and the Catholic Church next year muck up the track by steadfastly demanding that they must be accommodated at the Randwick Racecourse, then the Spring Carnival next year could be in jeopardy. Then there's the AJC. What business can have its main revenue stream completely wiped out in one hit and not knowing for how long? There will be people at the highest level here put out of business. No New South Wales horses will be racing in Victoria, or Queensland horses for that matter. Kevin Moses, the trainer, made a very valid point. He said it was a disgrace that EI had spread across New South Wales. He said the thing with this government is our trains don't work, our buses don't work, our ferries don't work, and now all of a sudden our horses don't work. How did this get out of quarantine, he said. This is not just a dark day for racing. This is a dark day for employment across New South Wales, an industry which generates hundreds of millions of dollars and employs thousands and thousands of people. We have the second highest thoroughbred breeding population behind America. Our prize money is third in the world. Betting turnover $12 billion. A lot of it returned to the government. And now this. The one plus is that officials from the State Minister Ian McDonald-Down and the Racing New South Wales boss Peter V'landys, the Chief Steward Ray Murray and his team have done a fantastic job. But if this virus escaped from the quarantine station at Eastern Creek, a federal government instrumentality, then these people can't be allowed to suffer in silence. Compensation must be paid to those whose livelihoods have been wiped out. Quarantine by definition means an isolation imposed on people or animals that have arrived from elsewhere or been exposed to and might spread infection or contagious disease. Well, such persons or animals have not been isolated. And while there's no fun in the blame game, someone is seriously to blame. And it's not those people now with no income. The federal government has a real issue on its hands. I'm Alan Jones.